Hey friends, welcome back. Hey, before your next backpacking trip, if I told you it could be lighter weight, more comfortable, and safer, would you go for it? Well, if you're anything like me, the answer would be yes. So stay tuned. I've got 5 tips to help you have a more enjoyable time on the trail. Let's get right into it. All right, hack number 1. Let's look at one thing we can do to make our trip a lot more enjoyable so that we can get more sleep on the trail. One of those has to do with the pillow. We have a love-hate relationship with pillows. They don't quite feel like the ones that we have at home, but we kind of also feel like we have to sleep with one. I prefer the Trekology 2.0 pillow. As you can see, it's got a decent thickness to it. It is also contoured to fit that neck area, but it's not perfect. You want to know what the perfect pillow looks like? Stand by. Here it is, the perfect pillow. This is the same Trekology 2.0 pillow with a buff around it and my puffy jacket stuffed inside. Look at that. So why is this the perfect pillow? As you can see, it is tall. And if you're a side sleeper like I am, one of the hardest things is not having enough neck support as you sleep. So you can stuff your jacket in here, thermal, or kind of either your base or your mid layer in here, whatever you need to do to get that height. I don't know what that is. What is that, like 6 inches? You tell me. Yeah, it's like 6.5, 7 inches. Obviously, when you lay on it, it's going to smash it down. But this is going to give you a much better sleep at night. And then the buff kind of acts as a friction point on your sleeping pad as well. So if you don't have a strap, or you don't like to use a strap, this buff really helps keep the pillow in place so you can get that nice sleep. And who doesn't want better sleep on the trail? Okay, so the second hack I have for you today has to do a little bit more with saving a little bit of weight, but making things a little bit more efficient, especially volume-wise, as you are packing, in particular, as you're packing your food. Now, this might only be necessary or more applicable to those who might be having to use a bear canister, say if you're hiking on the John Muir Trail, if you're on the PCT going through the Sierras, or if you're in Yosemite. I think there's a few other places in the country that require a bear canister. But if volume is a constraint, or you just want to save a little bit of weight, this is the next tip. So I ran into this problem as I was preparing for the John Muir Trail. We had planned every meal to be a dehydrated meal, but as you and I both know, those dehydrated meals are packaged in not the most efficient manner. As you can see in our peak refuel, there's a lot of air and a lot of space here. So even if you try to fold that thing over, it just takes up a lot of space and it's not terribly efficient. So the hack for this is empty those contents out into a quart-size Ziploc freezer bag. And instead of all that space, now it's in this nice little package here. So it saves a little bit of weight. The Ziploc is a little bit less weight than the packaging that comes with the freeze-dried meals. Now the challenge is going to be, how do you kind of let this thing rehydrate, right? So I do bring one empty one with me that I've kind of cleaned out, so that when I pour my hot boiling water into this freezer bag, which if it's a freezer bag, you can pour the hot water into it. I can just grab the one that I have with me, stick it inside the pack, and just let it rehydrate. So that'll save you a little bit of weight and more so volume if you're packing and just want to kind of condense things a little bit. I do this every trip, even if I'm not using a bear canister, because I enjoy things getting a little bit tighter and being more efficient in my food bag. Tip number 2, be more efficient on trail and ditch all of these. Okay, the next two are going to be similar, but tip number 3, or hack number 3, you may have guessed it. Use a fanny pack. I'm going to try to figure out a way to talk about a fanny pack in every video. I just love them. I think they're the most important, maybe not important. They are probably the most pragmatic piece of gear for me on the trail. Why do I love fanny packs so much? I don't enjoy taking stuff off, having to fish around to find things that I need. So the fanny pack has all my essentials in it that I need and can get to right away. Some people enjoy those in hip belt pockets. I don't have anything against hip belt pockets, just sometimes they're really hard to get into. If a backpack isn't made correctly, you kind of have to use both hands to get that zipper working on the side. And it's not just an easy one-handed zip open, zip close. So you're fumbling around a little bit while on the trail. And honestly, those pouches are a little bit small anyway. So I have the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Versa, and I just love this thing. So it's got a smaller front pocket here. This is typically where I'll keep little things like my headphones or chapstick, or sometimes if I've got drink mixes, I'll put those in this front little pocket here. And then the big pocket, there's another separator here. I'll attach my keys, which I love having a key ring attachment that I can put back in there. I can usually throw my wallet back in there as well. And then the rest of this pouch, I can just put in like snacks. I can put in here some of my camera gear, tripods, and other little things that will fit into this thing. And then there's a nice little back pouch here too. And this is typically where I carry my phone in this little back opening. And I can use my headphones. I can get to everything I need to get to. The phone isn't going to fall out. It's in a safe place. So hack number 3, use a fanny pack for all of the little necessities and knickknacks that you need to get to throughout your day. It'll keep you from stopping. It'll keep you from forgetting where things are or trying to dig through your pack to find them. Fanny packs are awesome. Okay, hack number 4. And while a little bit silly again, because we're going to bring the fanny pack in, this one's a little bit more serious. And this is really around safety. I always hike on my longer trails, obviously, with a satellite communicator. The one of my choice is the Garmin InReach Mini 2. It's obviously very small, lightweight. It's about 3 ounces. It's great. I was listening to an episode on YouTube from Kyle Hates Hiking, and I'll link this particular video in my description below if you want to listen to this as well. And a really sad story, and let me get this right, around a gentleman by the name of Reverend Mike Turner, who unfortunately passed away on August 31st of 1998 in the Wind River Range. He sounds like, and I don't know this for sure, that he was doing potentially a high route through the Wind Rivers. And what happened to Mike Turner, unfortunately, is he was going across the boulder field. A boulder slipped when he was stepping on it. He tried to jump to another one to steady himself. And as he did that, the original boulder that had slipped came down and pinned his feet. And so essentially created almost like shackles. It didn't break his legs. It didn't do any kind of like actual damage to his legs somehow with how it all worked. But there was an 800-pound boulder that pinned his feet, and he couldn't move. He had access to some things with where he was and where his pack was that he could reach. But there was a few things that were just out of reach. And by just out of reach, I mean inches out of reach. And Kyle talks about this in his video. That, for whatever reason, has always stayed with me. And so from a safety standpoint, this never comes off of my body. I know it's really popular for people to attach them onto their shoulder strap of their backpack. And I'm not saying that that's wrong necessarily. But for me, if I had put my pack down and something similar had happened and you can't reach it, you've got your lifeline to safety, but you chose to distance yourself from that lifeline. So I always clip my InReach to my fanny pack, and that's where it sits on my hip all day long. I never have to take it off. It can transmit just as well, maybe slightly worse, but honestly just as well from around my hips as I can from sitting up here on my backpack shoulder strap. So safety tip, something that I will do and will always do, is carry this on my person at all times. It is never out of reach from me. You just never know what's going to happen in the wild, and anything is possible. So whatever you need to do to keep your satellite communicator on your body at all times, my suggestion, my hack is just do it. Your family, your spouse, your loved ones, your partner, they will be so grateful just knowing this is never out of your reach and always on your body. Okay, the fifth and final hack. This is going to help you be a little bit more efficient on trail with your time, in particular at the area where kind of speed may be necessary or may be really important. And that is as you're getting to camp and then as you're packing up and leaving camp. And this hack is have a system for packing your gear and where it goes, what order it goes into your pack, what order it comes out of your pack. First, when I'm packing my pack, I'm usually keeping the things that are most important and what I need to get to last, but also that are most important and that need to be dry down in the bottom. So I will put in my Nylofume pack liner first, my sleeping quilt with any clothing that I'm not wearing or things that are for the night or things that are cold weather. If it's not cold, I will pack all that in first. I will usually put my sleeping pad, my pillow in there, and then I will close that up in the Nylofume pack and make sure it is watertight and ready to go. So that's my sleep system, essentially goes in first. Then I can put in my food. I can put in then typically the next really big item would be my tent. And that's usually it in terms of kind of systems to put things in. I like to go sleep system, food, tent, because when I get to camp, the first thing I'm going to want to do is to pull that tent out and get it set up. And on a normal day, it may not be as big of a deal, but if there's rain or if you've got to get in quick for some reason, it's nice to know that's the first thing you're going to grab out of your pack when you get to camp is the tent, set that thing up, and then under the cover of a tent, especially if there's inclement weather, you can then just grab your stuff, take it in, pull out your sleep system, and put that together inside the tent, making sure everything stays dry. So have a system, know where you normally put things, so that when you are unpacking for the night and then packing things up in the morning, you know where things are going, you know where it's at, and you've got a nice organized way to do that. And I promise you that will help save you 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at camp, where you know where things are, they're packed exactly the right way, and you're not dumping everything out, gear explosion, trying to find, dang, where did I put those tent stakes? So tip number 5, have a system for packing and unpacking that makes sense and is logical for you and the environment and the situation that you are in. Okay, so those are my 5 hacks to help you have a more comfortable, a lighter weight, and certainly a safer outdoor adventure, and encourage you to get out and enjoy the time. The spring is here. Where I'm at, summer is on its way. I'm already out on the trails getting in some training miles. So really excited for the summer, the warmer weather and the adventures that are on their way. What adventures are you going on? What trips are you planning where you can incorporate these little hacks to make a better experience? Put those down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your plans are and maybe get some things to put on my bucket list for future seasons. It's always interesting to me. I don't know a lot about a lot of trails outside of kind of the area where I'm at. So anything you've got would be awesome. So let me know what you're planning on doing. Also, it's that season again. I just did my gear review of what I think is the perfect ultralight and comfort backpack. So if you're interested in seeing that, the Z-Packs Our Call lineup of backpacks, you can see that video right here. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.